So first fight that we have on the prelims of UFC Vegas, we have Montserrat Rendon versus Tamires Vidal. This is going to be a fight at the 135-pound division, badminton division for the women's. Um, Rendon, the monster, she is 5-0. She is a prospect, believe it or not. She's actually 34 years old. She's from Mexico, 5-0 in her last five. She is fighting Tamires Vidal. She is also 5-0 in her last five, 7-1 record. She's from Brazil. This is going to be a 9-year age advantage for Vidal. She's the younger fighter here at 34 years old compared to 25 years old. And she is going to have a 2-inch height disadvantage. Rendon is 2 inches taller than her. Same reach, actually. So, pretty interesting fight there to kick it off. I mean, usually when you hear a debut fighter, they're a little younger as far as Rendon, but she's making her UFC debut at the ripe age of 34. I'm going to switch it up a little bit to this time. I want to hear your thoughts first before I get into my thoughts about this fight. Gerard, let me know what you think about this first fight. What do you got going on for this one?
This one, I was looking at Montserrat Rendon. Obviously, she's an older debut, 34. She Her boxing, I thought it would be solid, but I think it might not be good enough at this UFC level. She kind of struggles on the back foot. I noticed against her fight against Cloudy, which I thought Cloudy won that fight, and I think she was also another Brazilian too. Um, Tamires, she has good pressure. She mixes up her strikes, not just punches, but also knees and kicks. She's much younger, almost 10-year difference. She's already got a win in the UFC. And I think I'm going with I think you go with the younger fighter here. And I think Tamires wants it more here. And yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward for me.
Definitely.
Tamires.
Do you have any kind of plays on Tamires? Anything that you might want to, put a wager on?
This one, I might put her in a parlay, but Rendon looks pretty strong, and I think she might try to wrestle. So with that, I might just put her in like one of the smaller rocket parlays. Yeah.
Definitely. Alex, what kind of rockets you got for us for this fight?
Um, no, I'm gonna have to agree with Gerard here. I actually really like Tamires Vidal in this spot. Um, just watching Montserrat Rendon's fights, the one against Cloudy that you mentioned, Gerard. She's like primarily in a boxing stance. Um, doesn't really throw any combinations, just throws like straight punches, like one at a time. Uh she doesn't combine them together. And so she also has this tendency where like if she's getting pressured, she feels like she's getting pressured, she's gonna immediately go to the clench and try and shoot for like a very half-assed takedown attempt. Um, and looking at her tapology, I can see that she lost to Juliana Miller. And Juliana Miller, she's in the UFC, but she actually just lost to Luana Santos. Um, and I was all over Luana Santos in that fight, and so I actually think Juliana Miller's a very very weak UFC prospect. And so for her to lose to Juliana Miller, I think that already says all there needs to be said in terms of what I think about her. And in terms of Tamires Vidal, 6-fight win streak. Looking at her fight tape, she throws very heavy looping shots, heavy body kicks. Um, I just think that like all of her shots are thrown with a lot of power. So I'm actually pretty confident in Vidal to get the win here. So just like Gerard, I would also play her in a parlay. She is a minus 220 favorite right now. But I mean, I would even play her straight up, like 2.2 units to win a unit. I think I'm pretty confident in this pick. So yeah, that's my pick for this one.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I actually totally agree with you guys. I just want to kind of hear your guys' thoughts, but it pretty much aligned with me when I was doing the breakdown for this. Rendon, she reminds me of one of those tough kind of old school MMA fighters that you see from like 2006 or something, just kind of back in time, really basic stuff. I don't really see anything special that she really excels at. I mean, the strong suit for her, I think, is her grappling. But bad news for her is that I think Vidal's even better a grappler than her. So, I mean, I think that this is going to be a matchup where she might not have anything that she even excels in. Like you mentioned, Alex, I mean, she doesn't really throw any combos. When I watch her, I see a lot of 1-2s, which is, fine if you have some kind of cool technique like, Sean Strickland, how he spars and how he fights. But if you don't have that technique down and you're kind of just throwing jabs and straights, it doesn't really land that much. I mean, especially against Vidal, I think really Vidal really proved for me in that last fight against Ramona. She's an explosive striker. I mean, she came up um, more thought of as a grappler when I first heard about her. She had like a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I believe. She's a former soccer player, so she has a good athletic background. But that highlight KO where she knocked out Ramona with those knees, that was really it showed me that she's a truly explosive striker. So she has the striking down, the grappling down. Now, granted, I think Ramona Pascal is a can. I don't think she's really that good and not even UFC caliber. But the fact that Vidal was able to just kind of finish her in really quickly in that fight kind of shows me that she does have some special talent in terms of athleticism and technique as well. Um, in terms of my play, I mean, I think that in terms of the odds, initially when I first saw them, I think Vidal opened up at minus 275, and now she has been bet to minus 225. So you're getting a bit of a discount on her. I still think that that's a decent play, and really, it's really because of the 9-year age advantage there. I mean, that stat has been really relevant throughout UFC. If you follow it, anytime a fighter is like over 70 or so, it's nearing like 60-70% win rate right now. So I think just because of that 9-year age gap for Vidal right there, I'll probably be safe to kind of play her in a parlay. But let's just see how weigh-ins look. You never know. But for now, I think that she could be a pretty good parlay piece there. Yeah.